an introduction to using Periscope, the new app from Twitter, to live stream your content from your iOS device. Hi, my name is Krishna Day. You'll find me online at krishnaday.com and krishna.me, and of course on Twitter at @KrishnaDay. Here I am on my iPhone, and I've connected my phone to the new app available from Twitter. It's called Periscope, and this allows us to live stream video content publicly or in fact to a private list. So I just want to show you a couple of things to get you familiar in case you're thinking about using this to live stream. Firstly, make sure that when you're logged in, you go to your settings, and in the settings area, you can make an important decision there, particularly if you are thinking about broadcasting your own content, and that's to be able to automatically save the video content from your own content that you're streaming to your camera roll. You can also turn notifications on or off. In fact, I'd recommend that you go over to the main settings in your iPhone or your iPad, if that's what you're using for streaming with Periscope, because you have a number of other settings there, including your geolocation setting as well. I've actually turned notifications off in terms of broadcast messages, because once you're connected to people on Periscope, you can get a notification when they're about to do a live stream. And so that's a great way to join other content from people that you're interested in hearing from. However, I've actually turned that off just for today as we're recording this. So the thing that I can do is I can go over to the bottom right hand side, which is where I'm at the moment, and I can see who I'm following and who's following me. So I'm actually finding a great way to look for people to follow. It automatically will bring in people who've joined onto Periscope who you're following on Twitter. But another great way to do that is by looking at people's profiles. So let's explore that a little later on. On the left-hand side, you'll see what's happening now. And so I have to tell you, there's some not great content, and equally there's some really good content that's being streamed over on Periscope. And I'm getting notifications here about content that's live now, and then I can go back and see details of content. Now, I also would just point out that in terms of when you're looking at this list, it's actually quite difficult. If you join an event, and let's say, for example, you're having a problem with your own phone in terms of access, maybe your Wi-Fi isn't particularly strong, and you come out and you want to go back to an event, it's really quite hard to actually find it. It doesn't always stick around in this list. So my suggestion would be then to pop over to Twitter to find that person who was doing that live stream and look to reconnect via Twitter. Now, you can watch events on the web as well, but the ability to be able to comment on the content that's being shared is really only available in the iOS app, and I'm sure Android will be developed very soon. I can also see content here that's been archived. Now, this is a big difference between Periscope and Meerkat. At this point in time, at the end of March 2015, Periscope allows us, as the producer of the content, as a broadcaster, once the event is over, we can allow that content to be reviewed as an archive for up to 24 hours. And in fact, we can turn that viewing off at any time. You also get notifications in there about how many people watch the live stream, how many people watched it on the web, how many people also were then watching it in terms of as a replay. So as an example, I noticed here that one person that I follow on Twitter and also on Periscope is Jamie Oliver. And from jamieoliver.com, they were doing an event about Jamie Oliver's food revolution. If I click into that, this is a recording that happened about 6 hours ago. And I can then see the recording. I can go into that if I wish to. And down at the bottom, I can see the location from where it was streamed. And if I scroll down onto that later on, I can then see who participated in that event. And I can go back and look to watch it if I wish to do so. So you'll also see here a friend of mine, Mia, and a friend of mine. So you'll also see here a friend of mine, Mia, and a friend of mine, Amanda. They've both hosted some Periscope live streams earlier on today, but they've not enabled the recording to be seen. If I come over onto looking at the content that's being shared, now I'm not going to go into any of these because I don't know the people, but one of the things that you'll have the opportunity to do is actually comment in the stream there. That comment does not at this point in time go over to Twitter. So that's one of the things that I'm finding, is that with Periscope, because that content doesn't go over to Twitter from what you share in the app, that has a limitation. Versus Meerkat, you can turn that now on or off in terms of your comments, which can therefore bring other people into your events. People who are watching your event can also retweet it, and that's another great way to actually bring people to actually come and watch the live stream, as well as your own promotion of it. If I was going to start a live stream, I can see the button there in the middle, and that takes me to the content. So you'll be asked for access to your camera and also to your audio. So I can see here, I've actually got some devices on my desk, and I've got my keyboard here. And what I get the opportunity to do is right at the top, it says, what are you seeing now? So that's the opportunity now for me to put in a title. And that can then go out to Twitter, because on the bottom here, on the right hand side, I can actually turn on whether or not I want the content to also be shared to Twitter, the fact that I'm actually on this event. And in the middle, I see a little lock. And so that lock area means that I can actually make sure that only the people I want are invited in to watch that event. And on the left hand side, you'll see a little arrow or map pin, and that allows me to then identify my location. So I'm not going to start a broadcast now, but a quick tip for you in that area, it says, what are you seeing now? Right at the top, underneath the broadcast now button, would be to put information in there that also includes your hashtag if you've got one for your event, or if you're interviewing somebody, you can actually use their name, and so @mention them, and that will therefore go out into the tweet. I should also just add that it's important to remember that if you're recording other people, that it's really essential that you get a release from them so they're happy. So I see a lot of people broadcasting content from, let's say, concerts and conferences. And if you don't have the rights to do that, then that could give you some problems. And I'm sure that we'll start to see organisations not allowing live streaming of content from events going forward. Once I'm ready to start a broadcast, I can hit the Broadcast Now button. So I hope you found that a useful overview in terms of using Periscope. And if you've got questions about using either Periscope or Meerkat in terms of for your live events, then please do not hesitate to get in contact. I'd love to know your thoughts about how you plan to use both of these tools. Are you going to only use Periscope? Are you planning to use Meerkat? What are your thoughts about doing so? And you can leave a comment on the YouTube video, or of course you can mention me over at Twitter and let me know what your thoughts are. So thanks again for watching. I look forward to hearing about how you use these two different apps, which both give us a great ability to live stream content. And of course, from there, we can build our visibility, repurpose that content, and of course, create important connections for your business.